So in this particular video, we're going to take a look at the brand new 2022 Mizuno Pro Fli-Hi driving iron, utility iron. We're going to test it, we're going to see how it sort of performs, and potentially this is a club that you could put in your bag as maybe a bit of an off the tee option to hit more fairways, or whether it's those approaches into the green. But for me, there's one real big negative, unfortunately, this time, which we're going to come to a little bit later on in this video. So Mizuno Pro Fli-Hi, we've seen these in the past, the Fli-Hi name. It's like the utility iron, it's that driving iron, it's that hollow construction. And maybe last year we saw the HMB just continue down into those long irons, into a 2-iron, 3-iron, 4-iron option. This is a little bit different. And I'll show you again a little bit later in the video the differences between this and the HMB long iron, and you'll understand the differences. So the focus on this for Mizuno is ball speed. Obviously you'd expect to sort of see this in this type of iron, this higher ball speed. Again, most guys will probably use this off the tee as maybe a bit of a fairway finder. Maybe the golfers who don't really get on with hybrids too much might prefer this sort of more iron appearance down by the golf ball. And first impressions, it looks great. As we know, Mizuno, they always make some good looking stuff, don't they? And I'm going to get this first one here. This is a 2-iron, a club that I would carry in the bag myself. Oh, well, that's flown away. So I've got myself set up on a fairly sort of tight hole on the TrackMan. Actually hit the fairway lovely on that first one. So 230 yards through as a carry, spin around that sort of 2,000 mark and running out about 263. So just going back to maybe that negative, and you know, we're just seeing the review of the new Mizuno Pro irons and they look fantastic, don't they? 221, 223, 225, amazing, so good looking. Then we switch into the sort of Fli-Hi, and again, it looks fantastic, but why is it black? That's my only concern here, it's black. And now, I know it's a finish, it doesn't change the performance of the golf club. I'm guessing they're doing it to make it look a little bit more small and more compact, possibly. I don't know, but it's an iron black finish, which I don't mind, but it's Mizuno. Why black? That's my only maybe criticism I'm going to give it on its actual looks. But to be fair, the shape of the head down by the golf ball looks superb. Little bit of offset, thickish top line. I mean, it does frame the ball with the face being a little bit more silver where the grooves are in comparison to that more black at the heel and the toe and the back of the head. Obviously, we are seeing the back of the head just protruding out at the back. It doesn't look offensive by any means, but it just obviously gives you that confidence that you've got a bit of that forgiveness down by that ball. Or that hang on to that fairway or not, just slightly down that left-hand side, struck it okay. Enough to get it over that bunker. Just clinging on, oh yeah, just missing that fairway slightly there. 233 carry. So as I mentioned, ball speed is a big talking point here. And for the first time ever in a Mizuno iron, is they're using a mastic steel club face. So this is generally used in their fairway wood. So as I say, it's the first time they've used it in an iron. Again, it's trying to get that explosive speed off the club face. So this is a forged product in the head. It's a 431 stainless steel body construction with a 21 gram tungsten weight sat inside, which is obviously low and deep to help with that launch, bit of that forgiveness and get that consistent ball flight. And to be honest, even though it's not forged, it's not massively loud. Again, that's just up that left. I need to be hitting more fairways here with this. But again, the strike was really good, 236 on that carry. So as I say, the sound of it is obviously a little bit more clickier with that sort of hollow head. Obviously it's stainless steel, but it's not offensive by any means there. I think it's a good positive crack to that. It does feel quite sort of springy off the club face, if that makes sense. So it does feel pretty fast off the face. That's a better one. That's slightly low in the face, can feel that, but it's flown, probably that tungsten low there, it's flown, well, it's launched quite easily there compared to see what happens to that carry number. Yeah, so he dropped hardly anything there with that carry distance, just with that slightly lower strike, just get that spin up a tiny bit through that slight low strike, but recovered well. And that's the forgiveness element. I wouldn't mind hitting that, you know, obviously I've got my fairway finder there. If I've hit that low strike, I don't mind it. It's got that consistency, it's got that sort of launch still there. Ultimately, a little bit of that forgiveness, isn't it? So we've got some HIT technology from Mizuno, which basically stands for that harmonic impact technology. Basically some ribs on the internal part of this body in the hollow section, which is breaking up sound waves. So again, it's helping to create that little bit of more, probably that deadening that sound in a way, isn't it? And I probably agree with that. You know, I think you're never going to get it like that forged, you know, the proper pure blade iron. They're never going to get that with a hollow construction. It's always going to be tougher. But I think the sound, I think they've got it really on a good point. And that's flown, that's just, I mean, if I've hit that well, that's flown up, that's launched very easy, it's 12-degree launch. I say this is a 2-iron, which is 16.5 degrees of loft, so it's quite a strong sort of loft in a way, so, but seemed very, very easy to sort of launch, and it's definitely a club that I could quite easily put in the golf bag. Now the thing that I'd like to sort of see with this type of iron, for me personally, I'd like to see how easy is it to knock the ball flight down. We've got that tungsten there, which is low and deep, which is really sort of firing to get that ball launched in the air, but how easy is it to knock this down? And that's what I would look at. So let's hit this, what feels to me like a little bit lower. Let's try and lower this flight a little bit. Oh, that feels great. I've really squeezed that. Just got up that right hand side, left that face a little bit open on that shot. Let's just hit another one. Strike was superb. See that launch 10 degrees there. Height of that was only 62 feet, where I think the last one was 90. So it's a good chunk lower. And again, that felt like it came out a little bit lower. That's my little reaction to that slight right one. Just knocked it down, but again, 68 feet on that height of there. So easy to sort of knock that down. You know, obviously the adjustments in my setup there, maybe the ball just edging a little bit further back in the stance. Feels like I could just cover it a little bit more with that handle, control that loft. Still feels like it can fly quite nicely. Okay, so earlier in the video, I did say there isn't a direct comparison to this against that HMB in the 225 iron. They are completely different irons, and I'll just throw something on screen now that you can have a look at the comparison between the two, and this is a 3-iron comparison. And you can maybe just sort of see the differences there with that head length in comparison with the 225 iron. A little bit longer in the Fli-Hi blade length. The sole width is quite considerably thicker. Again, getting that weight and that CG sort of down deep and low. See, the CG depth is lower, MOI higher, COR is also higher. So it is a completely different standalone iron. These are available in a 2, a 3 and a 4 iron. And Mizuno is saying that this head is really designed to be fit with a graphite shaft in it, which is what I've got. I've got the Hazardous Smoke RDX in this, which I would always tend to sort of edge towards a graphite shaft in that utility iron. I just prefer the weighting and the balance of that. But obviously you can have a steel shaft option in there, which is just slightly different in the length. The graphite's 1/4 of an inch longer than a steel option. And then back into a nice high ball flight. That is superb. That's flown really high, struck that great. The difference of the height now, if you watch that height number coming in, there you go, 96. So for me, very playable in terms of that up and down launch. Can cover that, get that in lower if it's windy, you know, wind into, I'd be wanting to do that a little bit more. Maybe if it's downwind or maybe no wind at all, I wouldn't mind just sort of flying that club up that little bit high, but definitely that very forward trajectory. So just look at the numbers there. So you see club head speed on that 100 mile an hour mark. We've got ball speed at 144 and launch at 11.4. So that launch just come down a fraction there with those two I hit, where I was trying to hit it a little bit lower, that 8.6 and that 10 degree. Obviously just slightly pulling that average down a fraction, but around that sort of 230s, mid 230s on that carry, and around that sort of 260 on that total distance. So that iron's definitely doing a job that I would sort of want it to do. It looks superb. Just the black thing, I don't know, I'll probably get used to that. Yeah, I probably would. Just initially it shocked me. I thought, why black from Mizuno? You know, tying in with the range of the Mizuno Pro irons they've launched, which just look absolutely sensational. And then there's a black version. Maybe they just wanted to really set it completely different, so it's not maybe a comparison to that HMB. Possibly that is the reasoning. Post comments down below, let me know your thoughts. Would you go with that in your bag? Black, yes or no? Love to hear your thoughts as always, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.